Everything starts out small. Even when we look at the evolution of life and the trajectories of genetic change, everything starts out small. Even the largest of predators and most royal of family trees. Dinosaurs have lasted for hundreds of millions of years, taking over every niche imaginable, from the slashers to the croppers. Everything starts out small. The Tyrant Kings, the largest predators to ever run down prey, those that use the largest of steak knives to tear through the tender flesh of their prey, everything starts out small. This is the story of just such a creature. The family tree that came to be known as the tyrant reptiles by humans 66 million years after their extinction began with a minuscule animal barely fitting the description of a predator. Everything starts out small, and so did Dilong, the Emperor Dragon. "125 million years ago, during the Lower Cretaceous period of what is now China, lived a small and undoubtedly feathered theropod dinosaur, a small animal that may well have given rise to one of the most efficient killers ever to live, the Tyrannosaurs. Dilong paradoxus was first described by Zhu Xing and his team in 2004. Although not a true tyrannosaur, this little grandfather of tyrants was a proceratosaurid. That means it belonged to a group of animals that eventually gave rise to the tyrannosauroids, which then produced the tyrannosaurs. Dilong is one of the most primitive of the proceratosaurids, and this can be seen by its rather basic anatomy. The fossil material found consists of potentially 4 individuals with varying degrees of relatability to the genus. The type specimen is a nearly complete skeleton, with secondary specimens including a nearly complete skull and presacral vertebrae, and 2 partial skulls. This animal had long arms ending in 3 fingers, something noticeable as anything but a tyrannosaur, as well as a rounded rectangular skull. It was much like other coelurosaurs, without any crests, knobs, or scutes to differentiate it from other primitive theropods. However, the radius, pelvis, humerus, femur, pubis, and ilium show osteological evidence of relation to proceratosaurs, making it a good example of what earlier proceratosaurs may have looked like, though it is older than other proceratosaurs. The fossils of Dilong show evidence of feathers. That is, fossilized skin impressions were recovered from the jaw and the tail that show preservation of feathers. However, the feathers donned by Dilong were not like the feathers of modern birds, for they were without a central shaft. Thus, these feathers may have been used to keep the animal warm during cool nights, and to keep it from losing any heat since it was smaller. It lived in an ecosystem alongside other dinosaurs such as Bapiosaurus, Microraptor, Confuciusornis, Psittacosaurus, Gladocephaloideus, Repenamamus, to name a few. It was likely an opportunistic predator that fed on mammals, insects, small reptiles, and the occasional dinosaur. Dilong is estimated to have grown to a maximum length of 6 feet, which would make it large enough to take down most of the small dinosaurs of its day, though an adult Psittacosaurus or Bapiosaurus would have been too large and powerful to overtake. However, it is with forms such as these that the larger, more imposing, and infamous examples of theropods evolved. The Tyrannosaurus sprang from these early forms rather quickly, in only a matter of tens of millions of years in the mid-Cretaceous, and radiated out exponentially, increasing in size to one of the largest land predators of all time, Tyrannosaurus. All from the little Dilong, everything starts out small.
I speak a strange language of tree groans and windy whispers. ears. For when I listen close, I'm told tales by creaking timbers of days when frost giants left the mightiest groves and splinters, and of the holy deep snow melt following age-long winters. Have no fear, my darling dear. This is what happens in the mountains. Through cold seasons and long years, we'll traverse landscapes, give thanks to the ancients, and in these sacred places, draw strength from the surroundings.